The 80-year-old tycoon was dating a beautiful woman. He didn't realize they were being watched by a man. The killer looks through the scope and sees the perfect woman, and he's got his sights on the rich guy, because the rich man is his target, and the pretty girl was about to go to work with her little whip. The killer silently loaded the gun and pulled the trigger, but then the girl suddenly moves. The bullet hit the woman. His first shot missed. The rich man's bodyguard was also alerted. The assassin took aim and planned to fire another shot, but the bodyguard closed the curtains. The mission ended in failure. He quickly dismantles the sniper rifle and puts the shells away. He puts on his motorcycle helmet, goes downstairs and leaves before the police arrive. He didn't rush out, but walked through some alleyways, scattering the sniper rifle parts and throwing them away. Finally, he came to a bridge with few people and threw his motorcycle and helmet into the river. Even so, he didn't let his guard down. He hid in a public restroom and cleaned his arms to get rid of the smoke from the gunshot. He changed his clothes and became an ordinary passerby. Next, he was leaving the city, but when he arrived at the airport, he found police with dogs. He didn't dare to bet on whether the dog's nose was good or not. He left without a word and went to the restroom to clean up again. But then his superiors called and told him he had to finish the mission. The killer knew there was no chance. He simply threw away his calling card and destroyed his cell phone, unilaterally cutting off communication with his superiors. However, after he boarded the plane, he met a man with sunglasses. The killer's intuition told him that the other man was also a killer, and his target should be himself. The killer was ordered to kill the tycoon, but the rich man was playing a game with a pretty girl. The assassin killed the beauty, but he lost the chance to kill the rich man. However, his superiors want him to complete the mission. After he unilaterally cut off contact, they send other killers to take care of him. The killer doesn't want to fight with his peers, so he gets off the plane quietly. He checked into a hotel, but that didn't make him let his guard down. To prevent his counterparts from sneaking into the room, he picks up a glass and a metal dinner plate. He puts the glass on the doorknob and the metal plate underneath. If someone turned the knob, the glass would fall onto the plate. It would make a lot of noise. Even so, he didn't dare lie down to sleep. He sat on a chair with a knife. If there was any movement, he could react immediately. The next day, he looked around carefully to make sure his counterparts had been shaken off by him. He got on a plane again after changing flights a dozen times. He finally returned home, but as he drove up to his doorstep, he suddenly noticed a man's footprints on the ground. The killer's vigilance was immediately heightened. He took out his gun and ran in the direction of his home. Because his wife was still at home, he looked around the house first and didn't find anything wrong. He was so worried about his wife that he could only enter the room with his gun. But there was no wife in the room, only blood on the floor. He rushed to his wife's room, where there was more blood. There had been a fierce struggle here. He immediately called his brother and learned that his wife was only injured. Looking at his wife, who was seriously injured and unconscious, the killer couldn't suppress the hostility in his heart. It must be that his superiors wanted to teach him a lesson but couldn't catch him, so they took revenge on his wife. It's obvious that his superiors broke the rules. He decided to take revenge. What happens when you offend a professional killer? The assassin pulls out his secret weapon. He's not looking for the man who hurt his wife. He's looking for his superiors. After all, the man who did it was just following orders. He learns from his brother that a cab came by the day of the accident. He broke into the cab company with a gun and found out the driver's information that day. Then he waited in front of the company for the driver to come to work and pretended to be a passenger in his car. When the driver turned around, he saw the gun in his hand. The driver was very cooperative in completing his investigation. He recalled the day he picked up a man and a woman. They first went to the killer's house. The woman waited with him in the car. The man came back an hour later. After that, he drove them to a company. The driver told all he knew and prayed the killer wouldn't kill him, but the driver saw his real face, so he didn't spare her. He bought a garbage can and an air nail gun and waited for his chance in the car disguised as a cleaning lady. This building is installed with access control. When someone opened the door for the courier, he dragged the trash can and followed him in, without arousing the slightest suspicion. When the courier entered another door, he did not rush to follow him in, but silently counted the time when the door closed. Waiting for the courier to come out, he pretended to be drinking water because he didn't want to implicate the innocent. At the last second of the countdown, he jammed the door. He forced the woman at gunpoint to take him in. Finally, he meets his superior, whom he's never met before. He's a lawyer, but he's got a bunch of killers. He handed the woman some rope and told her to tie his hands to a chair. He's still arguing that the killers disobeyed his orders. He's just teaching his wife a lesson, not killing her. Killer thought it was reasonable, so he took out his air rifle and gave him a few blows. He wanted to teach his superior a lesson, but the superior was too weak and died.